Good morning, everyone. Can you feel the anticipation growing? We want to make you guys wait as long as possible before we start. The other really cool thing we do at Wichita State is we plan outdoor events, and we do this for the drought because the only time it rains in Wichita is when we have an outdoor event scheduled. So thanks for making accommodations and coming inside. But an exciting day today, and we've been waiting for this moment for a long time. I will also add that this is why we're going to build more buildings, so we can have more rain. But we're here today to open up the Forensics Crime Gun Intelligence Laboratory. It's been a long journey, a wonderful partnership. It wouldn't be possible without the leadership of our president. A lot of times when we talk about the Innovation Campus, we talk about Dr. John Bardo, who started and had the vision, and it was a wonderful vision that really changed the face of South Central Kansas. But it really is President Rick Muma who really put together the team and the management structure to make this successful. So it gives me a great honor to introduce Rick Muma for a few comments.
Well, welcome everyone. It's great to see all of you here today and welcome you to the Innovation Campus for this important milestone. And I'm getting ready to introduce a bunch of people, and I hope I don't forget anybody. And if I do, I sincerely apologize. But the first person I'd like to introduce is Senator Jerry Moran. Senator Moran, thank you for being here. We have some folks who are virtually with us today, Acting Attorney and his Deputy Colin McDonald and Assistant Attorney General Jolene Loria. We also have ATF Director, Mr. Robert Cekada, with us today. DEA Administrator Terrence Cole. Is Terrence here? Virtually. Okay. We also have our colleagues from the FBI, the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, Central County Sheriff's Office, City of Wichita Police Department, law enforcement agencies across the region. And then we have our mayor, Lily Wu, is here, and Stephanie Wise is the vice chair of the was here. I don't know if she's here still. She was here earlier. Thank you both for being here. And then we have many representatives from Central County and the city and also the state of Kansas. So thank you all for being here. And then finally, my leadership team, sitting Senior Executive Vice President and Provost Monica Lounsbury right here in front of me. I think she's just monitoring what I'm doing here. And we have Executive Vice President for Research, John Tomlin, and Dr. Coleman Martins, our VP for Strategic Communications and Marketing, is here as well. So thank you all for being here. So this research facility represents exactly what our Innovation Campus was bring together: higher education, government, and industry to solve real-world problems. That's all I talk about, is what we do as an institution, is solve problems. That collaboration matters because partnerships with federal agencies like the ATF strengthen public safety, expand research capability, and help fuel and diversify our state and region. It's important. This partnership creates meaningful applied learning opportunities for our students and helps the ATF with their talent needs. That's why they're here on our campus. We are proud that Wichita State can serve as a home for this critical mission, and we are grateful to our partners in the government. A special shout out to Senator Moran. He is the common denominator of all of this. He has been supportive of this all along the way, and I want you all to know how important he is, not only to this facility, but other facilities that we have put together and programs that we put together here on our campus. But others at the ATF as well, across government, have made this vision a reality. So thank you for being here. Look forward to seeing where this goes next.
So we're standing on what would have been the atoll, the golf course. And when we had this dream and vision of what we wanted this campus to be, obviously you look at aviation, you look at manufacturing. But when we talk to everybody, we realized that there was this digital transformation. And every industry needed to digitize. And then when you do that, you don't have a workforce. And so really what we started doing is, how do we help every industry cluster with this digital transformation? And then apply learning with our partners to then provide that workforce as needed with this new technology. Never would have guessed in a million years that one of our largest partners on our but what a wonderful partner they are. And they totally understand what we're trying to do and understand what it would empower them to be better at what they do going into the future. So it's a great honor to get introduced Rob Cekada here today, who got sworn in on April 30th, but has been coming to WSU since 2021. Wonderful partner. Look forward to a few words from him. Rob.
Good morning, everyone. So I'd like to start off by just reminding you, ATF is a small agency, but we are the only federal agency that's tasked with our primary mission focus on violent crime. And to be specific, that violent crime comes in several forms. Those committed by violent repeat offenders, convicted felons, gang members, cartels, transnational organized crime members, and also those who choose to use arson or criminally use explosives to commit violent crimes. So we're truly an agency that is focused on violent, and with less than 2,500 positions strategically around the country and most. I think today marks a day that is not only for Wichita, but for the country. I was speaking with some of our folks this morning, and they thought that this lab was only going to serve the citizens here of Wichita. With our hopes, year one, the conclusion of year one, once the lab is fully staffed, we hope that this lab will process approximately 4,000 casings that are coming to us from all over the country. ATF currently brings in casings for approximately 600 police departments around the country daily. And when I say casings, it's not for NIBIN. NIBIN is one of the functions that will go on here. The specialties in this lab will be specifically focused on DNA recovery, touch DNA from fire cartridge casings, meaning casings that are recovered in crime scenes across the country after a shooting occurs. It will also focus on recovering latent fingerprints, ballistics evidence, and a myriad of other areas that our folks have expertise in. For example, serial number restoration. Again, where violent criminal deface a serial number from a firearm with the purpose of hiding the history of where that firearm came from and how it got into the hands. So I wanted to thank a bunch of folks. There's a lot. I'm inevitably going to miss some people, so I apologize in advance. I can't go to the list of 200 people. Thank you. But there's a lot of people that started this project in 2019 before I was involved. And along with the senator, one of our former ATF executives, Danny Board, who's in here somewhere. I can't see him. There he is. Thank you, Danny. There's a whole myriad of people who worked really hard behind the scenes for several years before we broke ground. And anyone that actually works in government knows that no matter how many people are on board, to get a great project moving forward, anything can derail the project. So the fact that we all stuck together and worked hard together, all of our federal partners, DOJ, Department of Homeland Security, all of our state partners, they're all going to benefit from here. The folks here, Senator Jerry Moran is one of our biggest supporters at ATF, fights for nail, knowing that the focus of what is truly going to affect Americans across the country and reduce violent crime in the communities that. From Senator Moran's staff, I wanted to thank Brian Daner, Lucy Hewlett, from Kansas Senator Olitha office. Thank you so much for your support. I'm sorry I think I killed your name, and I apologize because usually. Also, President Rick Moomba, I can't thank you for support. Dr. John Tomlin, thank you for all of your support and innovation about how we can do better. Andy Schlapp, thank you so much for all of your support. Dr. Monica Lounsbury, thank for your support and your vision as to what we will develop on the educational front here as a partnership. On the forensic side in particular, we talked about this a short time ago. This facility is not one that's focused on theories. This focus is focused on developing evidence for leads to help solve violent crimes, but also evidence that will be presented to court. There's nothing controversial in this facility whatsoever. The whole point of this facility is to take evidence recovered from crime scenes across the country, process it as quickly as possible, and get that information out to our state and local partners to reduce violent crime. Bottom line, there's nothing else. There's no politics involved here other than making America safer. So you should all be proud of what's going on here. I'd be remiss. I talked about time. Miraculous completion. We started working with Mr. Ivan Crossland and his team at Crossland Construction, along with the Tesserae firm, just about 2 years ago, under 2 years. And thanks to the great partnership with Wichita State and the Crossland Construction Company, we're under 2 years in this building, ready to conduct operations, where I can't say the same has happened in other projects. Just moving from one side of the city to the other for some reason, and usually happens way over budget. So anyway, I'm really excited about this opportunity. And all of our state, local, and federal partners across the country. So again, thank you for this opportunity, and turn it back over to you.
All right, so this is a pretty exciting part of the event. I go all over the country, and I tell you I'm from Kansas. And inevitably, in my line of work, they know who Senator Moran is, and they're pretty envious to have a senator that works so hard for Kansas. And I do believe, to his core, he believes this. He believes that his job is to help solve. But he also believes that Kansans and the people of Kansas can do a better job solving that problem than people around the country. And he makes everybody come here. Everybody chooses to be here, but they have to make a visit. So really appreciate that. That's such a unique and differentiator from most people up in Washington to take that time to do that. And we're seeing the fruits of that. I do think you're helping make this country safer, and I think Wichita State's playing a vital role. So thanks for all your help, ladies and gentlemen. Senator Terry Moran.
He wants to solve major problems across the country, like why can't the microphone work all the time? Good morning, everyone. I'm delighted to be here. Andy, thank you for the kindness that has been exhibited to me today. Honored to be here. I was here a couple of years ago when we broke ground. Great to see the fruition of those efforts and to see something that started long before the groundbreaking now to come into existence. And I think Andy said this right. Well, we certainly want Kansas to have an opportunity, Kansans to have an opportunity to participate in opportunities that take place across the country. We want them to happen here. The primary purpose of this is to support local law enforcement, to support state law enforcement, to support federal law enforcement in the support of American citizens, Kansas citizens, in reducing the amount of crime that enters their lives, to see if we can eliminate the tragic deaths of people across the country. And one way to do that is to remove violence out of our cities by removing firearms, people who use those guns to commit crimes. And that's what this facility is all about, and it's a good thing for the country. So good for the country that the Attorney General of the United States is with us, although he too had a technical problem this morning. His plane returned to Washington, D.C., but he will join us momentarily, and I'll introduce him when I complete my remarks. So this is a significant opportunity for Kansas to once again shine, and in the process of shining, make the world, make the country a safer place for our citizens. It's a good thing. And I want to thank all the law enforcement officers in this room, from our federal partners who are here, and some have been introduced. Welcome to Kansas. For our federal partners who work in Kansas, live in Kansas, We value and appreciate what you do. And to local law enforcement, we are so pleased to be able to lend ourselves to provide you with an asset that will help you solve crimes in small and large communities across our state. And Director Cekada, you have been a great partner in the time that you have been the director, but even before then, you're an ally, friend, true law enforcement professional who has ascended to a very important position in our country, and all done on the merits of his past service as a law enforcement officer. And I appreciate you pointing out Danny, who I have a great team in Washington, D.C. in my office and in the appropriations committee that I serve on. But all of this became so much easier and probably would not have happened but for this guy who worked for ATF and saw the mission, the opportunity, right chance that something really good could happen. And he helped us so much to keep the target on Wichita and on Kansas. And a large part of our success has been determined by the efforts of a person who worked for ATF and decided this was a good thing. And Kansas is a good place for it to happen. So Danny, I'm very grateful to you personally and professionally for the way you utilized your position to make sure that something good happened here on behalf of the people of our state. So thank you very much, and we should give you a round of applause. These law enforcement officials are nice to me, perhaps only because I chair an appropriations committee that funds them. And I'm honored that I chair something called Commerce, Justice, Science. And so I'm the chairman and have been the ranking member, the lead Republican on a committee that funds all the federal law enforcement agencies, the ATF, the DEA, U.S. Marshals, and the FBI. And unfortunately, it also has all the programs at the Department of Justice that provide funding to local law enforcement. It wasn't too long ago that people across the country, at least some people, said we should defund the police. And Jean Shaheen, a Democratic senator from New Hampshire, she and I have traded these positions between being chairman and being the ranking, depending upon what party has the majority. But we decided together that there was something in great value in funding the police to make their persons, to make them more safe, to make their communities more safe. And so we utilized our subcommittee assignment on Commerce, Justice, Science to begin putting more money into law enforcement, federal, state, and local. And the federal and folks will say it's been sometimes up and sometimes down. We've had a pretty good couple of last years in which we're funding more money to those agencies. But about the same time, the opportunity to earmark money came into existence. And in our office, we decided one of the primary purposes for which we are going to earmark money, and let me tell my constituents that when you earmark money, it doesn't increase the amount of money that's being spent. It only designates where it's going to be spent. If you don't designate it, it gets spent someplace else, most likely not Kansas. But if we can designate it, it comes here. And in the last 4 years, we have designated grants to local law enforcement in Kansas. 100 of our 105 counties, either their police department or their sheriff's department or both, have received money that at the end of this year will be approximately $60 million coming to local law enforcement, a little bit to the KPI, a little bit to the Law Enforcement Training Center, and a little bit to perhaps the Highway Patrol. But most of it to departments that their county commissioners or city council members say, we know you need this, but we don't have the money to do it. And it's a basic thing, vests and license plate readers and the ability to scan people that go to the county jail. It's stuff that we know is important in protecting our officers, and it's important in protecting our citizens. And so we've been on a mission in trying to make sure that there are additional resources, not fewer resources, particularly for local law enforcement. And at every step of the way, we've made the case, although it's not a difficult case to make, that we do best when there's a partnership between federal, state, and local law enforcement. And that's what this collection of people in this room today represent in such significant ways, is this ability to work together. And that's what this crime gun laboratory represents, is this coming together for the federal agency, ATF, to be of help to law enforcement at all levels, across our country. So this is an item that comes together that I think makes a lot of difference in people's lives. And it is important. This started an initial grant that we helped the Wichita Police Department achieve, and they put Nibin Gun Laboratory into Wichita State. And Wichita State partnered with them, and the innovation campus became perhaps something different, as President Muma said, slightly different than what we thought we were going to have on campus. But that initial grant started a relationship between local law enforcement and Wichita State, and then brought the ATF to Kansas. This ATF Forensic Crime Gun Intelligence Laboratory will strengthen the ability for us to investigate violent crime and get violent criminals put away. The progress here that's happening in Wichita helps everybody dismantle criminal networks, deliver justice, fights crime. And I like this thought that anytime there's a crime in the country that, kind of like Marshall Dillon, anytime there's a crime in the country, the police department, the detective, they're going to say, send this to Wichita. And we become the center in the country of the kind of work that's going to be done to solve these crimes and to make it safer. In addition, the other great aspect of this, and a mission of Wichita State and our universities in Kansas, is to make sure that we train people to have the skill set that can do these jobs. And that's the sweet spot here, it seems to me, is that we now have something of significant technological magnitude, that if you're a student at Wichita State studying criminal justice, you now have the chance to work side by side with the professionals at ATF and develop a set of capabilities and understanding and experience that, one, lends itself toward you doing something that you want to do with your life in criminal justice, and secondly, helps enhance the opportunity to save people's lives and to reduce violent crime. So the sweet spot is the combination of ATF and this laboratory and the students who will benefit from the experience of having it here in Kansas on their campus. I'm usually here, it seems, to talk about aviation and aerospace. So I needed to mention those two words before I pick up the podium. But what the point I want to make is the common denominator between what Wichita and Kansas has been able to do in attracting and retaining the aviation and aerospace sector to remain the air capital of the world. The common denominator in both that and this laboratory is Wichita State University. The president, Dr. Tomlin, the dean, the chairman of the department, all of you who put together a program that others found of great value. I was complimented a moment ago for, occasionally I get a compliment, and it's usually for my efforts, never for my results. It's the nature of Washington, D.C., unfortunately. But in this case, we have some results. And the reason that you can bring somebody here and see something and get a result is because we actually have something to show them, to sell to them, something that they see. And as my fellow Kansans in the room may recognize that too often when we say we're from Kansas, it's like, never been there, don't know much about it. And what we've discovered is lots of people who've never been here and don't know much about us, once they come here, they find what we have is something they want. And it could be lifestyle, quality of life, all those things. But what it is in this world is an educational opportunity, trained and educated students, a workforce that knows how to work and is willing to put their talents and skills on behalf of their employer. And that is what ATF found. It's what they will find in the future, is that we have students and workers who have the capability to meet the needs of the agency. And so it's really pleasing to see this stuff come together and to really just try to make certain that people who don't know us and never been here come here, find out about us, and then something good like ATF Laboratory takes place. The common denominator is visit Kansas, amazed by what we have, and then introduce them to Wichita State and our other educational universities and institutions, and the sweet spot comes together. So I thank President Muma. I certainly thank Director Cekada for his presence here today. And I look forward to working with them to make sure that this is a great success on behalf of the taxpayers and the American people. I now look forward to saying something other than just the air capital of the world. We're now the law enforcement capital of the world, and we'll work to make that happen. The Attorney General is joining us, and I want to give him the opportunity to meet and see you, and you to see him. He was on an airplane. He can explain this if he wants to, but he was to be here in person, and technical difficulties kept him from his plane arriving here today. And he is, based upon past experience and work, he is someone who has been a steadfast supporter of local law enforcement in public safety, and now leads the Department of Justice, Attorney General Todd Blanche. And so if you would join me in welcoming him, the technology appears to be working. Attorney General, welcome to Wichita, Kansas, and we're delighted that you are here in this form. And I'll take this opportunity to invite you to come back in person, and we'll do this all over again in another arena. Thank you very much. Please welcome the Attorney General.
Thank you, Senator Moran. I hope you guys can hear me okay. It's true, this morning, a little before 5 a.m., my team, myself, we all boarded on an FBI plane. We took off at about 6 or 7 minutes into our flight. We were told that we had to return to Andrews Air Force Base because of some technical difficulties. We landed safely, but unfortunately the challenges didn't allow us to take off again. So I'm here with Colin, who's helping me in the DAG's office, and one of our assistant attorney generals. We had Administrator Terry Cole was with us this morning. I think he had to get up at 3 a.m. to make the drive to Andrews Air Force Base, but he was with us this morning to join you guys. So I'm very, very sorry that I'm not there in person, but I'm honored to be here on the screen. And Senator Moran, I fully accept your invitation to come back to Wichita very soon and see the facility for myself. As you know, Senator, I am testifying in front of your committee tomorrow morning. And so when this was scheduled, when the testimony was scheduled, they asked if I wanted to cancel the trip that we had scheduled to come out to Kansas today because of the testimony tomorrow. And I said absolutely not, because I was excited about this. It's a great day for federal law enforcement. It's a great day for state law enforcement, for Wichita State, for Kansas. And so I'm happy to be there, if only on camera today. But look, I want to thank President Wilma. I want to thank Director Cekada and you, Senator, for really making this happen. I think I was just sitting here hearing Rob talk about how important the work is that you're doing at that lab. And it occurred to me that a long time ago, in 2007, I was a young prosecutor, and we were prosecuting a godfather in the Bloods gang for RICO murder. And he had ordered the killing of a guy who was in the Bronx to collect a drug debt. And our main witness at trial was actually the shooter. So our cooperating witness was the person who had actually pulled the trigger and killed what was ultimately an innocent man who had nothing to do with the drug deal. And in that type of case, as those in the room know that have been in law enforcement for a long time, you have to corroborate your witness. So here we had somebody who had actually pulled the trigger to take another man's life as a government witness at trial against his boss, the Blood set leader. And we were able to corroborate him, and we were able to prove that case in large part because we found the gun that was used in that killer's home, and experts in the field, they were actually from the NYPD, testified about the consistency between the casings that were recovered at the scene and the gun that was recovered from his room. So you have a jury who may or may not have believed this witness, but certainly the fact that this forensic scientific evidence was there to corroborate what he was saying helped us make the case. And so it's hard to put into words how important this type of facility is to making our streets safe and to law enforcement. It's hard to put into words the importance of having one place where you can do all the work around whether it's DNA testing, fingerprint testing, and all that work that happens to trace the history of a firearm in some cases. Whether you're, we're going to use this facility. We have been using this facility with firearms out of Mexico, with firearms all across the country, state and local. Rely on you guys, and so this is such a strong positive testament for law enforcement that it can't be put into words how terrific it is. And so thank you guys for putting it together. I know it's been said a couple times, but I want to say it here. Senator Moran's leadership is the key to getting something like this done. It is expensive. It costs a lot of money. It costs a lot of effort. It isn't something that can happen in a single fiscal year, but there are a few things more important to the success of law enforcement than having the forensic and scientific data behind the good old detective work that we have to solve violent crime. And so Senator Moran, thank you for your leadership. Thank you for always being there for law enforcement and for making sure that we have the tools we need to get our job done. Wichita State, there's few examples in this country when it comes to law enforcement of a better partnership between law enforcement and a university. It's been said a couple times, and I'm not going to repeat it. But when you have an environment where graduate students and undergrad students can not just learn from a textbook, but can walk across and actually work in a lab where the real work is done. We have a shortage of forensic ballistic examiners. There's a shortage out there, and the use of firearms to commit crimes is not going down. As a matter of fact, especially outside of the United States and Mexico and other places, it's now a very big focus. And so we need smart forensic analysts. We need people that are going to good schools and are learning on the job, because the big part of this is not only doing the work that helps our federal and state and local agents make cases, but it's having that evidence stand up in court. It's being able to call witnesses that can testify as experts. And that's exactly what Wichita's giving us now. And so when I was younger, Wichita State Shockers just always beat all my favorite college teams in baseball. So I'm honored to actually look at you guys and say thank you for the partnership and for actually creating an environment that will let us be successful. So I can't tell you guys enough how thrilled I am to be part of what's about to happen. I know we're not completed with everything, and it's going to be a process to get everything up and running. But Director Cekada and I are completely committed to it. Colin's committed to it. We are ready to make this continue to be a resounding success. So again, I am very sorry that I'm sitting here at 95-degree heat in Washington, D.C. today instead of it being there with you, but it wasn't because of any fault of our own. It was just a challenge with our aircraft. I will 100% be out there soon and see the facility with my own eyes, and otherwise I'll leave you in the good hands of our great director of ATF. And thank you for your commitment. Thank you for letting me chat for a few minutes, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thank you very much.
So a couple of schedule changes for everybody. Because of the wonderful rain, we've already done the ribbon cutting in the foyer, so that's been done. Rob and Senator Moran are going to go for immediate availability, and there's going to be tours for you after we end today. So thanks for coming, and it's a good day to be a shocker. More importantly, it's a great day to have a wonderful partnership like ATF working with us and really providing an opportunity for our students to have a wonderful future. So thank you so much for Senator Moran for being here, the Attorney General, Rob Cekada, and thanks for all of you for taking time out of your morning to be here today. Have a great day.
Marshall.